All right, guys, so we're wrapping up a pretty awesome event with Three Ranger Whiskey. We had Clay down to our retail shop here in Parkville, Missouri. We're now over at the watch shop, our partner business across the street from us, and we're having to sit down with Clay to just ask some questions about his experience of being a warfighter for almost all of his life. People that pre-ordered bottles, we gave them the chance to write a question. Some of them did, some of them didn't. First off, I'm going to start with the Three Ranger history. Clay, can you give me like a 2-minute synopsis of why you started Three Ranger Whiskey and also Three Ranger Foundation?
All right. The first thing I'll say, I wasn't the founder. I was part of the foundation of Three Rangers and Three Rangers Foundation. Three Rangers started with John Collette. John Collette was my Ranger buddy. He was at BCO 375 with me. And John is an incredible human being, that extremely compassionate, amazing person that had a lot of challenges in life, especially after he exited from the military and broke his back. This was in the 90s. They were getting rid of as many people as possible, so he was forced medically retire. So he got out, and then I went on my own path. I got out of the Ranger Regiment, was a federal agent. 2001, I went back into the military, and then we had this very long separation, and it was tough. I missed my Ranger buddy. And then 20 years after October 3rd, 1993, from the Battle of the Black Sea, or known as Black Hawk Down, we had a reunion. And I linked back up with John, and he said, "Hey, I'm working at a distillery." John went from intern to head distiller, and it was Koval, which is a distillery out of Chicago, Illinois, the longest running distillery in Chicago. And he approached them and said, "I would like to make a whiskey or a label that supports a veteran nonprofit." I was transitioning out of the military again. I said, "I'll help you any way possible." And I started the foundation, Three Rangers Foundation, which the whiskey was purpose built to support and fund. John continued to make the whiskey. We had another Ranger run the business. And here we are 10 years later. Some things have changed. The foundation primarily supports the transition of our Rangers coming out of 75th Ranger Regiment into civilian life. But we also, another major mission is supporting our Gold Star family members. They mean an incredible amount to us, and also building a network of mentorship for the Rangers coming out was priority for us. So any Ranger coming out of the 75th Ranger Regiment right now will talk to a counselor that will hook them up with Three Rangers to get them whatever they need: veterans assistance, college benefits, a buddy that lives in the neighborhood they're moving to, whatever it may be, however they need to be successful in life, we're there for them.
I got 2 things to add to that.
Yeah.
The first being, I'm not a rye whiskey kind of guy. I prefer my bourbon.
Uh-huh.
This is the only rye whiskey that I like. This is the only rye or any type of whiskey that I've ever seen my wife drink without a shooter.
Yeah.
Second,
Uh-huh.
Three Ranger Foundation, my all-time favorite veteran nonprofit for the aspect of what you guys do for the guys transitioning out of the 75th Ranger Regiment. There's no other organization that I think is competing with you guys on the aspect of what you're doing that makes a difference. It's really tough transitioning out. Like, you miss your brothers, as we were just talking about, and it's scary. It's a big leap of faith of, hey, I'm getting out of this community that I love and the people that I love, and I'm going to the civilian world. And Three Ranger Foundation, I've watched it as a business owner and being a mentor. Man, it's a lot of fun for me to scoop up some younger guys that are like, hey, I want to do X, Y, or Z in my civilian life and make a difference. And it's a lot of fun. So thank you for creating the organization, because it's definitely needed for the regiment.
Once again, it absolutely was not me.
John, thank
Yeah.
you for the whiskey.
Yeah.
This is excellent.
And there are so many names I could say along the way. And it has definitely been an incredible team effort to create the Three Rangers LLC, the Spirits Company, Three Rangers Foundation, the nonprofit. We don't make money off the whiskey. It is a mechanism to make veterans successful. And I'm glad you are a mentor. Like, that means an incredible amount to me.
Yeah.
And that's what we started with as a concept. When veterans get out, like when you join the military, you get issued a family, and the bonds you create are like none other, because you suffer and sacrifice together. Like, you create incredible bonds, and then you leave that. And a lot of guys need purpose, and it just lets them know the foundation that it's still out there. You just got to reach out and find it again, and we try and make it accessible.
All right. Let's jump into some questions.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right.
It's going to be embarrassing.
Here's the first one, Clay.
Yeah.
For those of you that are watching this, Clay he's a humble guy, but he's got a hell of a career, and his face is not on camera on purpose because he's still out there doing our bidding against bad people in this world. What's the story you would tell your 18-year-old self to prove how badass you are now?
I know exactly where this question came from. I won't say it's as much as a story, as much as it is just a principle that I am hayseed from Missouri. I'm 2 inches shorter than the average woman, which is no offense to the women, but I have reached the highest pinnacles of like military service and being a commando. It is 100% mental. What you want, you just have to want it enough, and you can achieve it. The Ranger Regiment was the absolute stepping stone to confirming that for me. The events of 3 October 1993, absolutely in the aftermath of that, I could do anything I put my mind to. So that would be my advice to my 18-year-old me, that there is nothing you can't do.
You figure out a lot of those mental barriers you have are just that, they're in your own mind and not the other way around. When are you coming back to KC for another KC Cattle Company event?
So I am a Missouri homeboy. My family roots are primarily in north central Missouri. I've got a little farm up there, and that is my church, my place I go. Every fall, I come back to do a little hunting and spend time with family. So I would say late October, early November. If I'm not out of country, I will be in Missouri ready to do another event.
You guys heard it. Besides being a Ranger, what branch and career field would you pick?
Whew, that's a tough one. Besides being a Ranger, I'd recommend any young person trying to find their way in life to join any branch of the military. But just being who I am and who I've been around, I highly recommend the Ranger Regiment. But a close second would be going through the Special Operations pipeline for the United States Air Force. They treat their people very well. Those guys get some amazing training, and I really appreciated my time working with special tactics guys in the Air Force, and they have a lot of opportunity. Once again, you just got to apply yourself.
Yeah. The Air Force guys are way underestimated on the special operations side. It's cool careers. What advice would you give to young men and women contemplating serving in the military? Favorite motto was a secondary follow-on question.
Oh, man. All right. What advice would I give to young people? Commit. Go take the oath. Serve your country. Whatever you do, you will come out better on the other side. People serve in many different ways, but taking that oath and serving your country will give you an incredible amount of benefits and opportunity. You just have to take advantage of it. Sure.
This is a follow-on question spurred by this one, just because I spent a lot of time thinking about the oath I took when I enlisted and remembering it very well. Looking back, I'm swearing an oath to protect the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. What do you think about where the military's at, what people can do better, and what they are missing out on the aspect of a majority of citizens within this country have never exited the borders of this country and seen third world countries. What are they missing on an experience of the aspect of this is still the best country to live in because of the stars and stripes and the Constitution that it stands on?
100% that is still the greatest nation on the earth. But it takes amazing people to make that sacrifice of serving. And it's extremely small percentage of our population. When my first niece graduated, the one thing I said, I'll promise you a trip, but you're gonna have to go somewhere where it has meaning. I took her to Normandy, France, and then we also took her to Latvia, because Latvia was not Latvia. It was part of the USSR for a long time until they regained their freedom. You can go to a lot of underserved places in the world and see what it really means to survive, not be entitled to anything. Entitlement is something you earn. It's not given. 100%. This is the greatest country. You have to earn it, though. You have to own it, be part of that, and just not expect somebody else to take that role.
How has helping veterans transition to civilian life impacted your own life?
100% enrichment. There is nothing greater than to get the satisfaction of seeing someone else succeed. It's the mission man in me. What is the mission? And for us, like Three Rangers Foundation, we want to see our own, after their sacrifice, after they give up everything that they give up, be successful. And I look back, the big thing that jumps out is back when we used to have Ranger rendezvous and we had all the Vietnam Rangers, and those guys got dealt such a bad hand. They came back and told their baby killers, you lost your war. They weren't appreciated at all. And they were trying to make the same commitment we were, but we all were called heroes.
Yeah.
And those guys took us under their wing 110%. And they were there to support us, whatever we needed. And for me to give back and just honor the legacy of everybody came before me, it's a huge honor. So,
yeah. Guys, if you haven't tried Three Ranger whiskey, it is hands down my favorite rye whiskey, and also Three Ranger Foundation. If you're capable and able and you're looking for a veteran nonprofit to support, this is the one. They do absolutely fantastic things for the guys transitioning out. It's one of the aspects we don't think about. We're hard chargers and we're like, man, we're gonna go kick ass in this career or this career. But the aspect we don't think about is losing the brothership and the parts that come along with that, financial burdens and everything else. Please go on, check them out. It's an absolutely outstanding foundation. Can't thank Clay enough. He's been a huge supporter of the company for years, and he's just an amazing guy that has dedicated his life to fighting bad people in this world. And if you're watching this, there are absolutely bad people in this world that exist. There's right and wrong. Clay's out there doing the right thing, protecting our country. We can't thank him enough.